Today, we are going to talk about a financial tool that generates more questions from the people we serve, from our clients, from people we talk to. This financial tool generates more questions and is less understood than probably every other financial tool combined. So let's talk about what is an annuity and when should you be thinking about using this tool and when should you not be thinking about using this tool? How about that? How do we demystify this word annuity? Like, what does an annuity mean? Like, what really is an annuity? The word annuity goes back many, many years, but essentially, annuity equals a stream of income. Now, that stream of income could be for a certain period of time, for 5 years, for 10 years. Or it could also be for life. So this is the traditional definition. And if you think about it, this really means a pension. So traditionally, the idea behind an annuity was this. And here's how traditional retirement planning went. It all went on this concept of a three-legged stool. And the way it would work is leg number one would be Social Security. Leg number two would be a pension or an annuity. And leg number three, savings. You know, like a 401k, something like that. So when my father retired, he had all of these. He and my mom had Social Security, they have a pension, they had a 401k, they got it all figured out. But here's what's important about this model. Notice that these two right here both represent lifetime income. The way it worked with my parents is they said, well, gosh, and this was true for a lot of people who had pensions who retired right around, 1999, 2000, right in there. And a lot of people who retire today, maybe they work for the state or as teachers, they might have something similar. But notice for my parents, Social Security, pension, those two income streams are guaranteed for life. And guess what? They actually cover most of my parents' regular income needs. It covers their base lifestyle. For them, this equals their lifestyle, and this equals their fun money, right? Up here, their savings, that's the fun stuff. And that's how people used to retire all the time. It's a very stable structure. Because if you think about it, if the stock market has a good year or a bad year, to what degree does that affect your lifestyle down here in this model? The answer, not at all, right? Doesn't affect you at all because your income's coming in no matter what. Now, it might affect your fun money up here, right? But it's not going to affect, your lifestyle. And when you're retired, you don't want the stock market to affect your lifestyle. You want to enjoy stable, predictable, and consistent income. That's history. That's how people used to retire. How does that compare to what's happening today? What's happening with people today? Well, first, how stable is Social Security today? A lot of people that I talk to, they say, hey, we're worried that this is on a little rocky ground. We're not sure if that's really going to be around for the rest of our lives. I think this is on very stable ground if you are over the age of, say, 50. And do you know why I say that? Because as long as you're over the age of 50, here's what I know about you. You do this thing called voting. You vote. And as long as people over the age of 50 vote, I can pretty much guarantee you that politicians, they're going to protect that leg because they don't want to get voted out of office. If you lose your Social Security, I promise you're going to be voting to kick that person out of office. They know that. They want to get reelected. That's actually going to be pretty stable. I know the media wants you to think it's not going to be stable. It's stable for you if you're over 50. Now, what if you are 25 years old? Is it stable for you if you're 25? not as much, right? So we just be aware that there may be some changes for younger people, but if you're over the age of 50, you don't have to worry about that one. How many of us are retiring with pensions these days? Well, guess what? That leg is pretty much gone. Unless, again, if you work for the state, the government, you work as a teacher, you might have a pension. But outside of that, most people don't have pensions anymore to really, maybe small ones, but not really much to speak of. Because what have companies been doing? They've been saying, you know what? We don't want to be responsible for this because they don't want that responsibility. Instead, what they're doing, they're saying, we're going to just do some matching in your 401k. And we're going to let you take the responsibility of your retirement. Now, this all started because, by the way, in the 80s and 90s, this is when this transition really started happening. And two things were going on. First, people were living longer, so the companies are like, we don't want to deal with these pensions. We don't want that responsibility. It's not what we do anyway. And what was the stock market doing? Up, 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 up. And people were all saying, gosh, why don't you just give us the money? We can invest it and make way more than you guys are in the pension. So that's what happened. And so now when people retire, what's it look like? They have Social Security leg over here, right? That's still there. But their 401k leg looks like this. They got tons of money in their 401k. And I see this all the time. People come to me and they're saying, okay, Mike, I want to retire. Here's the deal. I have my Social Security and I've got this big old pot of money in my 401k. How do I make this work? One area where annuities are helpful for people where if you're in this situation I'm describing right here where you've got Social Security and savings and that's about it, then I would argue as a true fiduciary, as a certified financial planning professional, I'd be saying, look, you absolutely are missing out if you're not considering adding annuities to your planning, if you're this person that we're talking about right here. If you're in this situation, here's something that you should be thinking about, or at least you should be looking into. What you should be doing, let's see if I can take a different color, is simply saying, let's take some portion of this, of your savings. Not all of it, not all of it, not all of it, right? Let's take some portion and let's use it to put into an annuity to create a replacement for that missing pension leg. So in other words, let's try to take some of this part of the leg right here, and let's try to create that third leg. And you can do that directly with insurance companies. So you can go to insurance companies and you can say, I want this much money for life. And I want it to come every month, just like the traditional pension. And the idea is between this dollar amount and whatever you're getting for Social Security, ideally that should cover your basic lifestyle expenses. How much of my savings would I need to put into some kind of an annuity that would be guaranteed to pay income for life? How much should we use? Like if you're asking me, would an annuity be appropriate for me if you're in this situation? And I'm noticing that the more I write on this, the messier the screen gets, right? But if you're in this situation, taking some portion, and right here, we don't know how much, that we'd have to find that out. But taking some portion to build up, to replace this leg right here in your planning, that can often make a lot of sense. That's a very prudent and intelligent way to structure your retirement income, where you go back to be just like my dad, where you've got two legs right here, this one right here, and this one right here. Those two legs cover basic lifestyle, and then you've got money over here that's for the fun, the extras, all that good stuff. That's a really good use of annuities right there. Really good. Here's another one. Same three legs, but you say, Mike, I don't have, here's Social Security, here's my savings. Mike, the pension leg, I don't have that at all. I'm not going to have that. And maybe you're like 50 years old, right? And you say, I don't have that pension leg. Well, guess what? Already it might make sense to do what we just talked about. Take some of your savings and use it to build a pension leg for your future. But notice what we're talking about here. We're talking about using annuities. I'm going to put a red letter word. Income for life. In other words, using annuities, taking some of your savings to buy annuities to provide some amount of income that's guaranteed to last your lifetime. It's amazing. Some people I talk to, they hear this word. They're like, oh, annuity. I don't like that word. Why don't you like that word? Oh, I hear that they're very complicated. I hear they've got a lot of fees. I hear they're really expensive and, all kinds of bad reasons. Guess what? Every time you hear that, they're talking about deferred variable annuities. That's a whole different thing. That is not what we're talking about here. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the kinds of annuities, and that's a problem, right? That word annuity is used in a lot of places. But we're talking about the kinds of annuities that are principal protected, they're insured, and they're guaranteed to just pay out income. For some period of time, whether it's for your life, and sometimes people use these, they say, I don't necessarily need it for life. If it pays out for 20 years, I'm good. Heck, for some people, if it pays out 10 years, I'm good, right? It's just saying, let's build up some pension leg here to pay you income for some amount of time. We're not talking about all annuities, right? We're talking about certain ones. Everybody's situation is different. And so you need to talk to someone that really understands this world so that if annuities are right for you, you're talking to someone who can help make sure that they're getting you the right type of annuity, right? The quality annuities that best fit what you're trying to accomplish. All right, that's our message this week. Hope you found it helpful. Talk to you again soon.